Welcome to Michael Reads. Today we're reading chapters 5 and 6 from The Shortness of Life. Uh, as you can see, I'm doing this live from a totally different location, as I am out camping with my family. I'm on vacation. So I just thought, you know what, I would like to stay consistent, what I'm doing, keep growing, but at the same time allow myself to have a little bit of fun. Now I'm currently at a campsite, but I've found myself somewhere where I can sit and just have a little session where I can read to all of you. So if you could bear with me while I just get myself ready, so that I can be able to do what I had prepared for all of you and for myself as well. As you know, we're all on this journey to learn. We're all on a mission to make the most of life and make the best use of our time. So I just didn't try to use me being on vacation as an excuse to not do what I feel I need to do. So today we will be doing chapters 5 and 6 on the shortness of life. I mean, two chapters that ask a question most of us avoid. If life feels short, is it because we have too little time, or because so much of it slips away unnoticed? I mean, before we begin, tap the like so that this reaches another reader who may need this conversation. Please, if you can, follow the page. If you enjoy reading the classics slowly and honestly, and tell me in the comment section what has taken most of your attention this week. I mean, it still is early in the week, so it's no judgment. But honestly, what has taken most of your time? Is it work? Is it family? Is it scrolling? Is it worrying? Is it something meaningful? So I'll leave that to you to see what you guys say. So please leave a comment. Rifa Begum, 894, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. How are you going to spend your day today? Thanks for joining me. We'll be covering this book on the shortness of life, which talks about how we spend our time. So today isn't about guilt or pretending we can perfectly control our life. It's about reading this book carefully and reading about what he gets right and where he may be unfair, and what these chapters can still teach us. So up to this point, Seneca, the author of this book, has challenged the familiar complaint that life is short. His answer is provocative. Life is long enough if we use it well, but many of us hand it away to distraction, ambition, and other people's demands. So chapters 5 and 6 develop that claim. Chapter 5 looks at people who are constantly occupied. Chapter 6 looks at the past, present, and future, and why a life divided by regret, inattention, and anxiety can feel painfully small. So let's enter chapter 5. Let me look for chapter 5 here. I mean, it's such a lovely day out there. My family is just in their tent over there, and they are viewing this live stream with all of you. And thank you for joining me on this live. Give me a thumbs up, please, if the sound is coming through nice and clear, as I'm not using my usual equipment that I use when I'm at home. So, chapter 5. While tossed hither and thither by Catiline and Claudius, Pompeius and Crassus, by some open enemies and some doubtful friends, while he struggled with the struggling republic and kept it from going to ruin, when at last he was banished, being neither able to keep silence in prosperity nor to endure adversity with patience, how often must Marcus Cicero have cursed that consulship of his which he never ceased to praise, and which nevertheless deserved it. What piteous expressions he uses in a letter to Atticus when Pompeius the father had been defeated and his son was recruiting his shattered forces in Spain. Do you ask, he writes, what am I doing here? Am I living in my Tusculan villa almost as a prisoner? He adds more afterwards, wherein he laments his former life, complains of the present, and despairs of the future. Cicero called himself half a prisoner, but by Hercules, the wise man, never would have come under so lowly a title. He never would be half a prisoner, but would always enjoy complete and entire liberty, being free in his own power and greater than all others. For what can be greater than the man who is greater than fortune? Hello everyone, hello Sophia, hello Molly. Seneca paints a vivid picture of the busy person. He includes people absorbed by money, status, legal disputes, leisure, appearance, social obligations, ambition, and even entertainment. His point is not simply that these activities exist. It is that they can consume a person so fully that they never become truly available to themselves. This challenge is almost mathematical. Add up the time lost to vice, idleness, unproductive effort, sickness, other people's priorities, and thoughtless habits. What remains? What remains when you use your time to those? So, be honest in the comments section, please. Which of these categories feels most modern to you? Is it career ambition, endless administration, social pressure, entertainment, or just purely something else? Something important here in this book. Seneca distinguishes between being active from living deliberately. A full calendar is not automatically a full life. You can be exhausted, admired, needed, and still never ask whether your days belong to you. So has anyone here ever reached the end of a very busy week and thought, I did a lot, but I'm not sure I did anything that mattered to me? Let me know in the comment section, please. So Seneca also targets postponement, the habit of saying that life will begin after the next promotion, the next birthday, the next financial milestone, or the next crisis. He sees that as dangerous because the future is never guaranteed, and the present is the only part of life we can actively inhabit. So let's be fair to Seneca. His insight is powerful. Busyness can become an identity, and people can use constant activity to avoid their own thoughts, values, or morality. That observation feels remarkably current, but there's a limitation. Not everybody is busy by choice. Caregiving, financial pressure, illness, discrimination, insecure work, and responsibility can leave people with very little control over their time. So it would be unfair to tell someone working multiple jobs simply to be less occupied. So perhaps the most humane reading is not, if your life is busy, you have failed. It is, wherever you are, or wherever you have even a small measure of choice, notice what claims your attention and protect some part of your life from being spent entirely by others. Chapter 5 asks, who's using your time? Chapter 6 asks an even sharper question. Which part of time are you actually living in? And before we move on, type one word in the comment section where your mind usually goes when you're on your own. Is it in the past? Is it in the present? Or is it in the future? Let me read chapter 6 to you. When Lucius Drusus, a vigorous and energetic man, brought forward bills for new laws and radical measures of the Gracchus pattern, being the center of a vast mob of all the peoples of Italy, and seeing no way to solve the question, since he was not allowed to deal with it as he wished, and yet was not free to throw it up after having once taken part in it, complained bitterly of his life, which had been one of unrest from the very cradle, and said, "We are told that he was the only person who had never had any holidays, even when he was a boy. Indeed, while he was still underage and wearing the praetexa, I apologize, he had the courage to plead the cause of accused persons in court, and to make use of his influence so powerfully that it is well known that in some causes his exertions gained a verdict. Where would such precocious ambition stop? You may be sure that one who showed such boldness as a child would end by becoming a great pest, both in public and in private life. It was too late for him to complain that he had had no holidays. From when his boyhood he had been a firebrand and a nuisance in the courts. It is a stock question whether he committed suicide, for he fell by a sudden wound in the groin, and some doubted whether his death was caused by his own hand, though none disputed its having happened most seasonably. It would be superfluous to mention more who, while others thought them the happiest of men, have themselves borne true witness to their own feelings, and have loathed all that they have done for all the years of their lives. Yet by these complaints they have effected no alteration, either in others or in themselves. For after these words have escaped from their feelings, revert to their accustomed frame. By Hercules, that life of you great men, even though it should last for more than 1,000 years, is still a very short one. Those vices of yours would swallow up any extent of time, and wonder if this our ordinary span, which, though nature hurries on, can be enlarged by common sense, soon slips away from you, for you do not lay hold or it hold or hold it by back and try to delay the swiftest of all things, but you let it pass as though it were a useless thing and you could supply its place. Seneca divides life into three dimensions: the past, the present, and the future. The past is already beyond our control. The future is uncertain. The present is brief, so brief that, in his view, people often fail to hold it at all. The person who is perpetually busy, worried, or distracted is scattered across these three forms of time: regretful about what has gone, inattentive to what is here, and anxious about what has not yet arrived. His core idea is not that the past and future are unimportant. It is that a person can become absent from their own life by living entirely in memory or anticipation. So, what pulls you away from the present most often? Replaying something that happened or rehearsing something that might happen? Seneca's treatment of the past is interesting. He suggests that the past can be securely possessed, but only if it was lived well and can be remembered with clarity. That is a subtle idea. A meaningful past is not merely a collection of years that passed. It is something we can revisit without feeling that we abandoned ourselves while we were living it. Meanwhile, the future can motivate us. Yeah? But it can also become a place where we keep relocating our happiness. Like, I'll rest later, I'll read later, I'll call them later, I'll become myself later. Seneca wants to interrupt that pattern. But before we close, let's step back and assess these chapters fairly. Let's assess them. First, Seneca's strongest contribution is his moral attention to time. He treats time not as a neutral resource, but as life itself. That's what life is made up of, it's time. When we give our time away carelessly, we're not simply losing hours, we're giving away pieces of our one life. That remains a bracing and valuable perspective. Second, he is insightful about avoidance. Busyness, entertainment, prestige, and future planning can all be useful, but they can also become ways to avoid stillness, difficult decisions, grief, or the question that we truly or of what we truly value. Seneca invites self-examination rather than passive drift. And third, chapters 5 and 6 of this book complement each other well. Chapter 5 focuses on external claims on our time, work, status, obligations, diversions, and other people. Chapter 6 focuses on the internal fragmentation of time, as in regret, distraction, and anxiety. Together, they argue that a life becomes short when we lose it both outwardly and inwardly. Now, for the cautions. Seneca can sound severe. His contrast between the wise person and the occupied person may overlook ordinary forms of joy, duty, recreation, and community. Not all leisure is empty. Not all work is self-betrayal. Not all concern for the future is anxiety. Planning, ambition, care for others, and even entertainment can be meaningful when they are chosen consciously and kept in proportion. His argument also reflects prestige, and Seneca was writing as a wealthy Roman statesman. Even though he understood political danger and personal instability, many people do not have equal power to reclaim their schedules. The demand to use time well needs compassion for material conditions, health, family, responsibility, and social inequality. And yet, these limitations do not erase his central question. We may not be able to control every demand placed on us, but we can still ask, what is taking my life? What deserves it? And what small part of my day can I return to myself? So, if these chapters give you one practical invitation for this week, what would it be? One boundary? 1 hour without your phone? One conversation you have delayed? One thing you will stop postponing? So, with this message tonight, is not that we must become perfectly productive. It is that we should become present enough to recognize our lives while we are living them. So take a moment after this live stream and ask yourself, what in my life is truly mine? Not in a selfish sense, but in the sense that you are awake for it. So if this conversation has helped you in any way, please, if you could like the live stream and follow me, Michael Reeds. For the next chapter, I'll be doing chapters 8 and 9. Yes, 8 and 9 on Thursday at 8 o'clock. And if you could share this with someone who has been saying, I'm too busy, you know. Comment my time if you are choosing one small part of your day to reclaim this week. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining me and reading these two very short chapters with me. So be gentle with yourself, be honest about your time, and I will see you all on the next one. Thank you so much. Take care, and bye bye.